You're listening to 5 Minute Feng Shui Podcast, episode 192, The 7 Star of Loss. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui Podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Hello, gorgeous Feng Shui listener. Thank you for tuning in today. We are talking about the number 7. You know, I did a podcast about this 150 podcasts ago. It was a while back. But you know, the 7 has really kind of come up into my consciousness. In fact, I am a tiger, and this month tigers are hosting the 7 star. And I kid you not, no sooner than that star had moved into September, I was not paying attention like I should be, and I was in the kitchen and I was shredding some cabbage on a mandolin. Well, I think you probably know where this goes. And I removed my attention from what I was doing for just a quick moment, and I got 2 really nice, very sharp cuts down my middle finger. And it was not deep, thankfully. I think it was unconsciously. I knew what was happening and what I was doing, and I didn't press down really hard, thankfully, or else I would have probably wound up in the emergency room getting stitches. So I have been nursing this little 2 cuts, 2 nice, pretty slices, just as clean and nice as they could be, but they healed really well. And that's the kind of thing that can happen with the 7 star, especially if the 7 star lands at your front door, if it lands in your bedroom, or if it lands on your zodiac sign. And we're talking today about the 7 star because the 7 has really sort of kind of come up pretty front and center for me this month. I can't believe that, 6 weeks ago, I was in Scotland and was visiting the church where Queen Elizabeth now lays in rest as they prepare her body for moving to Westminster Abbey and for the state funeral that will occur. This is a star that I believe affected her, and it was a potent number. 7 is, if you can recall, it was the year the pandemic came out. The 7 is all about the respiratory tract and about the mouth and teeth. So pretty much from your chest up to your, just under your nose, that's the area that the 7 rules. So breathing and your lungs and then your mouth. So sometimes the 7 shows up and you got to get a root canal, or maybe you find a cavity or chip a tooth, something like that. But you can also get COVID. The 7 star was the star that moved into the center and was the reigning star of the year right when we had the pandemic. I find that fascinating. Here we have this whole breathing epidemic that was going on. And I remember when I was writing my forecast for 2020, I had said, I think we're going to have maladies like, very bad flu, breathing problems are going to be something that we're really going to have to watch out in the year ahead. And I could just see that from the 7 star. So whenever the 7 star really becomes prominent, things happen. It is the mandolin. It's the slice and dice. It is that scalpel that is ever so sharp. I don't know about you if you've ever cut your finger on a razor blade, but sometimes you don't even notice the cut. You don't even feel the cut. When a blade is really sharp, you don't even notice it. It happens and you're injured before you know it. And that's the thing that can happen with the 7 star. You can get exposed to COVID before you know it, and then you end up with this thing in your respiratory tract, right? You can also have accidents. It can be anything from a shock to a cut, an injury, a car accident. It's usually accident by metal. So for instance, my cabbage cutting accident was a perfect example of it. But let's backtrack and let's talk about the queen. So obviously 7 is a powerful and potent number. And as we talked about, it was the number that was the reigning number for the pandemic. And that's I just find that amazing how energy works. That's the number that was the reigning number. Now here we have the 7th month, which is in August. I know by the Western calendar it's the 8th month. By the feng shui calendar it's the 7th month, because we have a lunar calendar that we go by in feng shui. So it's just winding up the 7th month, and then the 7th star, the monthly star, was going into the tiger sign, and the queen was a tiger, and she happened to be coming into her 70 years, or was just turned 70 years this summer of service and duty. It's amazing to me, all these 7s sort of lined up in this really, really unlucky roll of the dice for her. And it's amazing to think that how that 7 showed up that way for her. And it's a star, and it's an energy that's about cutting down. It's about loss. Obviously we know that happened with the pandemic. How many millions were lost during the pandemic? I'm sure that we don't even know the true number of deaths here in the US or in the world. I'm sure that there were counts that either weren't counted, didn't count it, just let's look the other way, or just couldn't be counted. Just there's no way to track it all in certain countries. So it's really interesting to me how this 7 has come back again. And this month, actually, is the tiger and the ox are both hosting the 7 star. So if you're a tiger or an ox and you're listening to this, I just want you to be a little cautious about it, because the 7 star is one of those things that can cause mishaps, delays, accidents. And the other thing that's important is that you be mindful of your temper, words that come out of your mouth that can be too cutting. We're going to talk all about the 7 star, but if you happen to be a subscriber of mine, or you buy my feng shui forecast, I know a lot of you are listening, do so. This is one of the energies that I write about every year. Every year it moves to a new location. And it also moves monthly. We've seen what it can do when the energies combine in such a way like they did for Queen Elizabeth. What's interesting too is that next year, tigers and oxes will host the 7 star for the entire year. So this will be an important year for ensuring that you take extra caution, extra care, you watch for fraud, you're careful driving, all those kinds of things. So whenever that 7 star shows up, we always want to be really diligent and be aware, because this is a star that has many facets. Here is the one thing I'm going to tell you that is good about the 7 star, and then I'm going to kind of go through all the details with you about the 7 star and why you need to know about it. But the 7 star has a positive side, and that is, I call pruning for growth. It allows you to take away those things that are no longer serving you, the things that have hindered you and held you back. It helps you to move forward in your life by shedding things. It's a metal energy. It's a small metal energy, as we talked about, like the scalpel, and it allows you to take things away, much like a tree sheds its leaves in the metal time of the year, which is the fall. The leaves go away, and that allows for new growth to come in. And that's how we have new growth. Think of it as the great life cluttering, decluttering. It is one of those things that we can do in our life, that whether it's a job, a housing situation, maybe a relationship, just some kind of difficulty that can be eliminated at that time. It's also a really good time for surgery. Maybe you want to have some work done. Maybe you've got some funny lump or bump and you want to have it removed. It's a really good time to do that. Or maybe you got a bunion. This is one of the few sort of bright spots that you get from the 7-star, in my opinion, and one of the ways that you can work with the energy. So whether you are a tiger and an ox and you're not looking forward to 2023 because of that 7-star, something's going to go away. But here's what I want you to think of. I want you to think of yourself like a tree. And a tree keeps growing by losing limbs and moving up and losing leaves and having those cycles of growth. So if you do lose something, chances are you're going to gain something in the end. Some new thing is going to come in that's going to help you grow. Well, let's talk a little bit more in depth about the 7-star, because this month the 7-star is going to be in the education direction of the Northeast, in the sector of ox and tiger. And what are we learning about, especially here in America, is the effect, the loss, right, that we've had, that children have had in their education. There have been so many children that are behind. There's concerns about whether or not they'll be able to catch up within a generation because of the loss of time spent learning because of the pandemic. Now, next month, the concern is going to be for the horse. And so if you're a horse, I want you to be extra careful. And don't forget, roosters are hosting the 7-star this entire year. So rooster, this is your advice, or the advice I would give to you is that find ways to eliminate things that no longer serve you, or that you love, or that make you feel good. Cut away those things that will allow you to grow and to move past and move beyond and evolve in some way. So try to look upon this year with the 7-star as a year that you're especially diligent and vigilant, and that you are finding new ways to grow. So let's go through the 7-star, because we have a 7-star, an annual star. We also have that monthly star. So let's talk about that 7 and how it can affect you. So when we talk about 7s, we usually have positive associations with it. 7 heaven, rolling sevens, 3 sevens on the shooting craps, and that kind of thing is considered lucky in Las Vegas, right? But in feng shui, the 7 is considered very unlucky and full of misfortune. Now, from 1984 to 2003, the number 7 was the period that we were in. It was considered to be extremely lucky. But once we changed and moved into 2004, we entered into another time period. They're 20-year cycles, and that was called period 8. That is period 8, but we run out of that as of next year. When we go into 2024, we're moving into a new 20-year cycle. Next year, the 7-star will be moving to the Northeast, and this will be in the in the area of education. So this is an area, though, that we'll talk about that a little bit more and its implications. But in the period 7, so you have houses that were built. Maybe you have a house that was built during that time from 84 to 2003. That's a fine house, but chances are it's probably getting kind of dated by now. And it was, like I said, it was a lucky number at that time, but now it's considered very unlucky because its time has passed. Now, the number 7 is also, as a reminder, is associated with the West, and it's a small metal element. It's also the number associated with the mouth. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And 7 rules all matters relating to small metal objects, which can run the gamut, like jewelry or the tip of a scalpel, sharp and cutting, right? 7 has other applications too. This can be the sharp tip of your tongue, and this is the blade that can often cut to the quick, right? And as such, the 7 can be related to arguments, bullying, and because it's related to metal and electricity, it can mean the spark of a fire, like from an electrical short. This can also be attributed to the 7-star. Always watch where the 7-star flies every year, because this can show you where losses or injuries can occur in your life, whether it's on the job or financial or a relationship. Many times couples divorce when the 7 moves into the bedroom or into to the front door. There's often a 7-star that will sort of be the last thing that cuts that tie. It's always important to look where that 7 star is showing up in your life. It can be in your home's natal flying star energies or the annual movements. The 7 star will fly to a different corner every year, and wherever it flies, you want to pay extra careful attention, especially like I said earlier, if this is your front door or your bedroom. It's also, if it's in your home office, also important to know. This can often portend injury by metal or some kind of like treachery, like online fraud, violence such as burglary or mugging, or simple deceit like gossip. Somebody telling you lies to try to manipulate you, like, some kind of a salesman, anything that would separate you from your relationship or your money. This could be an interloper in your relationship. And this is something that is the most worrisome part about that 7 star, is that 7 can cut off relations with your family members. Having the 7 star can cause family members to be cut off from the rest of the family or become estranged. That's why it's important to add water wherever the 7 star flies, because this can help build family relationships and protect them against being cut off or estranged from one another. And we always want to watch that annual star and the monthly star. That's why following annual feng shui is so important. I know we all want to feng shui and forget it, but it's one of those things. It's what's it take? Just a little bit of time, just a couple of minutes, maybe a month, just to check where to go. Where's it heading? I need to know where it is. So we're going to talk about some ways to handle it. Now let's talk about all the other aspects that you need to protect yourself from when it comes to the 7 star. Well, we talked about the COVID pandemic. That is something that we really want to be careful about. We want to have wear our masks or get our vaccines or have personal distance. Please don't write me nasty letters about vaccines or wearing masks. That's, we know that you wouldn't want to have any kind of surgery with a surgeon who didn't wear a mask, so it does protect you. Now, we also want to watch things like related to theft, especially your purse and wallet. So if the 7 flies into your bedroom or front door, you could have a purse or wallet stolen. So keep that purse close to your body and protect it. Keep it securely closed. I know when I pull into the gas station to fill up my car with gas, I put my purse in the seat next to me. I always reach over and hand lock the door so somebody can't come in and just take it. That's the kind of thing that you want to do. Now, how can you protect it? You can carry a food dog or evil eye for a purse charm. That's a great idea. A blue scarf will also add some protection to your wallet or to your purse. That's what I have right now because I'm a tiger. I've got an evil eye and a rhino and a blue scarf. So I'm like making doubly sure I'm wearing a little evil eye pendant right now because, like I said, the tiger is under the pressure of the 7 star in September. Now, blue colors are another way to insulate yourself. The 7 is, you take the teeth out of it by adding that watercolor of blue. When the 7 stars at your front door or your bedroom, wearing blue colors can help protect you, like water is protective. You can also add a black rug to your front door to help dilute or weaken the 7 star. In the bedroom, you can go for like some blue bedding or sheets. It will help protect you from loss or theft or injury. We love the blue color. It's a very easy thing to incorporate. I also like a conch shell as well. Anything that is a water figure. Water really is protective. Water is the primary way to wear down the 7 star. So adding a fountain or an aquarium is one way to handle it. You just want to make sure that fountain is not noisy, that it's super gentle, really low key fountain. You don't want one of those spitting ones or that's really noisy or has loud sprays, that kind of thing. But the fountain adds a level of protection. You can also use what I like to use, and it builds the family unit, is lucky bamboo in a glass vase with rocks and water. This will help to take some of the teeth out of the 7 star and promote good health. Now, you always want to trust but verify, right? So whether it's your credit card statement or someone new that you're dating, make sure you check everything thoroughly. Make sure you know who you're going out with. If you're single, do that due diligence to make sure they're on the up and up. Watch those smooth talkers who try to part you from your money, your relationship, or cut you off from your family. Some of us have family members that are smooth talkers. You know the ones. We've all got them. You want to watch out for those. Watch for those small bills and charges that start with online theft. I know that's what happened to me with a credit card account that I had. I kept noticing these little 80-cent charges for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden there was a whopper. And when I called, I found out that's what they do. They'll start with just like $1.38, 80 cents, whatever, some small amount that you're like, oh, it's not going to bother with that. I'm not going to call the credit card company. And then boom, they hit you with a big one. So if you see some odd, weird, small charges, like I never charge anything on my credit card, my like a credit card, like maybe my debit card, but never my credit card. Like if it's under, $20, I usually will pay for that. I carry cash. Yes, I do. Anyway, but I like to have all kinds of money in my wallet, real money, and then the plastic kind too. So think about those weird little amounts. You also want to be careful around metal and electricity. Obviously, I gave you the story about the mandolin, how I cut my finger on it. If you're working in the area where the 7-star is located, or you sleep where it's located, or your front door's there, it's vital that you're cautious and careful when handling anything with metal. This can include cutting vegetables in the kitchen or handling electrical tools. And this is also where an electrical fire can occur. I've seen this happen, especially when we get a combination of a 9 and a 7 star. Don't worry about that. If you know what I'm talking about, you're in good hands. But just be aware that this is one of those things that can happen, especially dryer fires. I've seen this happen so many times where you get either sparky light switches or somebody doesn't clean out the lint, and then next thing you know, you got a fire. It's also important if this is your front door and you have a teen driver. Why? The 7 also rules children. So you want to make sure that your teen driver is extra cautious, because the 7 can portend car accidents. So for families of teens and youngsters, this can also mean cutting as well. So be suspicious if your teen is covering their body up a lot. You're wearing long sleeves and pants when it's hot, and they never show any skin. This can also be a sign of self-harm and cutting. So watch that 7-star, especially around kids. That really worries me. The 7-star is another concern when you see it on the horizon, because it's a sign for a layoff. Whenever the 7-star comes to your front door or bedroom, there's a possibility of being cut from your job. So read the signs at work. Keep your nose down. Avoid that idle gossip, because this can backfire on you. Get your resume dusted off. Keep an eye out for opportunities. It might not happen, especially if you've got that lucky bamboo and water, or you've got a little fountain or a conch shell out, blue colors. But it's always good to be prepared. If you have rumblings at your office workplace, it's just a good idea if the 7-star hits the door or your bedroom, just to be listening and avoid those hurtful remarks. When the 7 comes to your bedroom or front door, you might be argumentative. It's true. You can get carried away with your mouth. So those cutting remarks have the potential to end relationship and do real lasting damage. Watch that you don't let your mouth get the better of you and cause you to say things you later regret. Gossip is another potential where the star is prominent. Better not say anything to say something negative, right? Watch your teeth. Keep up your dental floss and all your good dental hygiene, because this is one of those areas where that 7-star can strike. You're going to end up in the dentist chair. And then be cautious. Be very careful wherever the 7-star flies, whether you're behind the wheel or in your home. There's a greater likelihood of violence or theft. That means it could be the part of the house that there's a break-in. So if the 7-star falls at the back of the house, that's often where break-ins occur. Just double check those locks. If this is your front door or your bedroom, don't tempt fate by going out late at night and doing things that are considered unsafe, because you could be opening yourself up to injury or harm, and we don't want that. Double check all those windows, and you can also add a blue evil eye in that sector, and use blue colors to give you a little extra protection from the 7-star. So there you go. We've talked about the 7-star. I want to leave you with 3 tips. As always, tip number 1, you want to know where the 7-star is flying. Always, every year, you want to know where it is so you can be prepared for it. And you want to know monthly. We've seen this with Queen Elizabeth, and I do think, sometimes there's a little bit of fate about the 7-star. We always want to be aware of wherever it flies, especially when it falls at our front door or our bedroom. Tip number 2, watch your breathing health. The 7-star rules your respiratory tract as well as your nose and mouth that breathe it directly into your lungs. So whenever you see the 7-star at your bedroom or your front door or in the center of your household, this is a good time to just take extra precautions, maybe get your flu shot, bump up your vitamins, just be very healthy and vigilant. All right, there you go. We've talked about the 7-star. Use it, find ways to remove the things that you no longer need. No need to be afraid of it, but let's just be prepared for it. All right, have a great week. I'll talk to you on the next episode of 5-Minute Feng Shui. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of 5-Minute Feng Shui. If you did, please be sure to share this episode with your friends on social media, and let's change the world one home at a time. For more Feng Shui information and inspiration, sign up for my free weekly Feng Shui Easy. Just drop by redlotusletter.com to sign up, and I'll be in your inbox every Wednesday. And if you like this episode, I'd love it if you left a review on iTunes. If you do, send me the screenshot of your review to katie@redlotusletter.com with iTunes review in the subject line, and I'll send you a free gift as my thank you. I'll see you next week on the next episode of 5-Minute Feng Shui.